Now, this conversation is very, very important, and I'm glad that men have come out. They have come out to speak about their fellow insecure men who are intimidated or who get intimidated by successful women. Now, when we talk about success, we do not only mean financial success or financially stable and all that. We also talk about education, being strong, outspoken, and everything that comes with success.
He's not intimidated by your money, baby. He's intimidated by your hustle. Let me cook for a second. He is not intimidated by your money. Everybody could catch a good wave and run into a couple of dollars. He's intimidated by your hustle because he's seen you build it up from the mud, and he doesn't have that ambition. He doesn't have that grind. He doesn't have that grit, and he can't figure out, right, why you want to deal with him. So he secretly becomes a competitor, right? He secretly competes with you, right? And instead of loving you and lifting you up and embracing you and saying, that's my woman, he becomes your biggest hater because he knows he can't out hustle you, and you've never treated him like less of a man, but he feels like less of a man because we know if we look at you sideways if your girl is out hustling you because you's a leech and a slouch. It's not the money, it's the hustle, it's the grit, it's the grind, it's the fact that you can make something out of nothing.
I find that most men are very intimidated by strong, powerful women. You find that in a way when they're relating with them, they're either intimidated by them or they demean and devalue them, or in a quest to try and relate with them better. But it takes a real man to actually relate with a strong, powerful woman in such a way that it brings out the girl or the female in her. If you're a real man.
You can tell how secure a man is by what happens when his woman is shining, when she becomes more confident, more successful, when people start noticing her. A weak man will feel threatened. He starts making little jokes. He becomes colder. He downplays her wins. He tries to humble her because her growth is exposing his insecurity. But a secure man doesn't compete with the woman he loves. He doesn't need her to become smaller so he can feel bigger. He stays warm. He celebrates her. He makes it clear that her power is safe beside him. And that's when a strong woman softens. Not because he controlled her, not because he broke her walls, because for once, she didn't have to.
You'll see men always shouting, I love independent women. I love a woman who makes her own money. Really? Do they? Because the moment she buys her own car, especially without consulting you first, you will say, she's too proud. How can a woman have a car? When she travels without asking for your permission, begging for your permission, they'll say, oh, she's becoming very difficult. She's just moving up and down on her own. When somebody have their own money before, what do you expect? She'll be paying her own bills, doing her own thing, and they'll say, she doesn't know how to submit. She cannot submit to a man. Women that have their own money cannot submit to men. So which independent woman are we talking about? Because what men expect is that they want independent woman that will still bow down to them. My dear, it's hard for independent women to bow down to you. Independent women, they move differently than girls that are depending on men for money. The way they move, because anything they want to do, they can do it themselves. They can buy their own stuff. They can pay their own bills. They don't really need you to do all of these things for them. So they don't need your permission now. I have money. I want to buy a new Mercedes. I'm going to go and buy it. Will I come and start begging you and asking you, hey, what kind of Mercedes do you think I should buy? And that kind of thing makes men angry. Good for them. The thing is that most men don't actually want an independent woman. They want a woman who earns their own money, who will not ask them for anything, but still needs permission to spend that their own money. You can imagine. You have your money, you go and buy land. They will say, you did not tell me before you buy the land. You did. Meanwhile, when they have their own money and they're doing their own things, they don't need to ask you for permission. How many times do you see men asking their girlfriends for permission and saying, babe, I want to buy this land. Or do you think I should buy it? I want to buy this thing. Do you think I should do it? I want to make this investment. Do you think I should do it? They don't, but they expect you to do it. It doesn't make sense. They are not looking for independence. They are looking for a woman with money that they can supervise. And baby, it doesn't work like that.
Now, women back then, back in the days, our mothers, our grandmothers, and our mothers, our sisters used to be controlled by men just because women were taken to be child producing machines. Like back then, the only job you had to do, like they could only value a woman when you give birth to many children, when you wash for your man clothes, when you clean the house, just to do domestic housework. Now, right now, women are educated. Women are achieving in education. Women are taking up positions, and that intimidates men because in most cases, men don't want to be led by women. Okay, by default, a man has to lead when it comes to home, but at workplaces, women are in higher positions than men. And you will find that 99%, 98% of these men who are being led by women, they will feel intimidated, they will feel pissed, they will like, because they have nothing to do rather than accepting or bending low or being subordinates that they are supposed to be. Now, right now, men are discussing why their fellow men may feel intimidated by successful women. Now, when it comes to marriage, by default, men think they have to be superior in every field, and a woman has to be like it has to submit, which is not the case right now because women have tried to earn their money. Some women are earning a lot of money, like 3 times higher than what a man is earning. And that does not sit well with a man. By default, back in the day, by default, a man would control a woman financially, emotionally, physically. Like they used to control these women, but right now it is so hard to come to someone whose financial status is three times higher than yours, and then you start to brutally control them. It is so hard. And then they also feel ashamed. Right now, men actually don't want to put in a lot of effort. The challenge is if a woman suggests something which is not in the means of a man, and then a woman can actually get her or take care of that bill, it is so hard for a man to accept. In most cases, bagamba, oh, she's so disrespectful, she has no manners, she wasn't raised well. That is not the case. That is why women are working. That is why actually I have to wake up from Monday to Saturday or from Monday to Sunday from 6, and then I come back at 10 p.m. I'm struggling, I'm working, I'm thinking about this and that, and then before you know, you want to control me. It's not going to work because if you want to be treated like a man, honestly, you have to be there. You have to be there financially. You have to be there emotionally. You have to be there physically. Like you have to be the shoulder that I have to lean on, even when I have so many people to, to go to run to. You have to be my first priority. But if you're not in position to provide that or to do that, it is going to be so hard for a woman to submit naturally if you're not acting like a man.
Men ain't intimidated by strong women. No, you may not be, but quit thinking that you represent all men. You don't date men. You don't understand how a man can feel in a relationship with a woman that's outperforming him. Yes, he is okay with this woman out excelling him when it comes to raising the children because she's a woman, she should be. But what if she's out excelling him when it comes to her career, her direction, her ability to think? You don't think that some insecure men, that will be repelling for him? And you quickly dismiss a woman's experience. It's your attitude because you want her to still be the villain. Some feel small when they're in a relationship with a woman that stands tall. Feel weak when they're in a relationship where a woman is strong. And for y'all to get up here and say, no, it's your attitude. That woman can be the most docile woman, the most mild-mannered, feminine woman, but best believe if she's assertive, she's a leader in her own right, she brings more bacon to the household, she ain't gotta say because that man's insecurities, those demons will speak to him.
So I was chilling with my cousins, right? And we're all having a big discussion, both guys and girls. And this question came up. I feel like it's a question a lot of women, especially Gen Z women, ask because they're sort of getting into the workforce. Some are building businesses. And I feel like it's a question, too, a lot of men do not answer honestly, right? So we're living in a generation where men are experiencing something new at scale, right? For the first time in so many societies, women are out earning men. Right? Women are leading companies, women are leading governments, women are dominant in certain social spaces. And the truth is that men were not just trained for that sort of dynamic. And here's something women need to understand without taking personally, right? Most men were taught their value comes from providing, from being ahead and, being needed. So once they meet a woman that doesn't have any use, for that, men do not necessarily know where to fit. And that confusion can show up as insecurity, it can show up as competition, it can show up as resentment. And it's not because, women did anything wrong. It's just that men were not taught or were prepared, for this sort of reality. And now women are more used to dating up, right? So they can meet a man who is richer, who is smarter, who is more powerful, and to them it can almost be exciting, like, oh, what can I learn from this man? Or, oh, I can't wait to see what I'm going to grow into. Right? But men were not socialized that way. It was sort of like, oh, if a woman is ahead of you, then you are behind. That's how, Another thing men don't know how to handle is a lot of successful women are leaders, and that comes with a certain type of personality. Like if a woman runs teams, she handles crisis or she makes decisions daily, you can't just expect her to instantly switch into submission mode because she's in a relationship. And it doesn't mean like she's difficult, it just probably means like she's conditioned for her job. And that's the thing, a lot of men were not taught to be in a position to stand beside their woman and, support them. And I feel like the reason why this is such a serious thing in Nigeria now is mainly because a lot of men have tied their masculinity, right, to being able to provide. And now they are dealing with women who do not need provision. And, it now sort of brings a message to their head that, oh, am I a weak man? Am I not doing enough? And that's not really what it is. Like I said, I just feel like the world is in a transition phase.
A narcissistic man can never ever like a woman more successful or intelligent than him. After trapping her, he will do everything to bring her down, to prove to her that she's not that intelligent, she's not that brilliant, or she's not that great, because he himself is extremely insecure. One of the worst things he does is cheating on her with somebody who may not be as good looking or as great as her in comparison, just to prove that you are not that good, you are replaceable. See, there are so many women out there that could easily replace you. This is done to break her confidence, to destroy her self-concept, and to make her feel she is worth nothing.
So I noticed some guys were angry about the previous post that I made, but I think it's actually common sense. In the video, I said if a woman has to do everything for herself, provide, protect her own emotions, handle everything, then what does she actually need you for? And some men got triggered. But let's be honest, it's not because the video was wrong. It's simply because the rules have changed. Back then, your value was to provide money and protect physically. But now, women can work, women can earn, and as for protection, we have systems, we have society, we have police, law enforcement. So if that is the only thing you're still bringing to the table, think about it this way. How can a woman keep being expected to be a traditional woman and still play masculine roles? See, what matters now is, can you also provide emotional safety? Can you communicate? Can you also be a partner, not just a provider? Because a woman doesn't just become too masculine for no reason. She adapts to the environment she's in. So, my guy, it's either you evolve or you get left behind.
Now, the most disgusting thing is, most of these men are always asking to get, like, they're always asking for independent women, for like rich women, but surprisingly, when they get them, they become intimidated. Like, what do you really need? Like, what do you want? Like, what exactly are you looking for? Because you cannot tell me, I don't want someone who's already like fully dependent on me. I want an independent woman. I want a working class woman. I want someone who's up here. And then when you get them, you become intimidated. Like why are you so insecure? Like you asked for that, you got that, and then you're so intimidated. Like what exactly do you need? And surprisingly, when you're not independent, when you we try to be fully not independent, when we ask for money, when we ask for hope from these men, they say we are god diggers. Like we be called god diggers by these men. And then when we become independent, we intimidate them, like we become insecure. I get so lost. I get so lost because I don't know what you exactly need. I don't know whether you want us to be like totally dumb and totally stupid before you guys, but I think that is going to be hard for you to achieve. Yeah, especially for ladies whose fathers and parents have educated them, especially for kids or like women whose families have raised them in a manner that a woman has to work for herself, a woman has to put food on her table, a woman has to do this and that. It is going to be so hard for you to get that. Yeah, true. It is going to be so hard.
An independent woman is not for everyone. In fact, in some cases, an independent woman will actually intimidate another man. And that's primarily based on the fact that this woman does not need a man in her life. If a man is in her life for whatever reason, it's because she truly and authentically desires his presence around. And that's what exactly is the factor that is somewhat intimidating to a lot of men, because men all throughout history, we've always been needed for everything. A woman's education, a woman's bank account, a job, literally everything. Women have been entirely and solely dependent upon men. So now that women have more of their own autonomous rights and they have more liberation, they don't need men as much for many things that like they did back in the day at one point in the past. So now men understanding this, they sort of get a little intimidated by it, because they think to themselves, well, shit, if I'm not needed in her life, she can boot me out of her life whenever she sees so fit. And an independent woman, a woman who has her own shit, holds her own shit down and has her own things going on, she is not tolerant of crappy behavior, because she knows what it's like to be with someone, and she also knows what it's like to be without them. And of course, being without them sometimes brings a lot more peace than being with someone who is not the right fit for you. And independent women understand all these things. And so when men see that they are easily replaceable and very dispensable, of course, it's going to intimidate them, because they've never really been used to that. All through our history, once again, we've always been needed for damn near everything. And now that we're not, a lot of men are intimidated by it. But this is only weak men. A strong man is not going to be intimidated by an independent woman at all. It's only a weak man that finds himself intimidated from an independent woman. Hey, if he doesn't come correct, he doesn't come right, he's going to get booted off to the curb. And it's unfortunately a very intimidating thing for a lot of guys. Independent women have a tendency of being very smart, very educated, very goal-driven, very ambitious, very clever, and very well aware of how things work in life, and also sometimes very well aware of how men operate. And this means that a man can't really come with any kind of crappy or bullshit lies, because she has the ability to detect them from a mile away. And that's why they just choose to opt out from being with independent women, because a lot of dudes can't really get away with the bare minimum effort or low quality behavior, low quality treatment. So they know this and just prefer to stay away from independent women. And that's why.
Now, in my opinion, if I bring 50-50, if we do 50-50, if I have to pay for rent, if I have to pay for electricity bills, if I have to pay for water bills, if I have to pay for my transport, if I have to dress myself up, honestly, there's no way you're going to tell me I'm going to sit and agree to each and everything that you're telling me. There's no way I'm going to submit fully. I didn't say I'm not going to submit, but there is no way I'm going to be fully submissive to you or to your request if you're not acting like a man. I'll respect you, yes, but some things are not going to be compromised in my life or in that woman's life. So, as a man, however much I earn a lot, however much I work, however much you see that I have potential to put food on my table, to clear everything of mine. If you really think if you think I have to be submissive, please, you need to perform. You need to outshine me. I'm not saying you have to outshine me financial and all that, but you need to perform as a man. If you don't do that, kabaka with them. It's over. It's over. The submissiveness you're looking for, you're not going to get it. And that applies to so many women. We really, really respect. Let me tell you something. Women love to be led. Women love to be led by their partners, their spouses, their husbands. But you get it wrong that if a woman has money, if a woman works, if a girl is earning a lot, they will not be submissive. They don't want to be led. They don't want to be advised. That is wrong. You literally have a wrong and poor perception. Yeah. But that is the point.
A lot of men don't like strong women because it requires them to be a man.
Yeah.
And no, not a boy who wants attention and not a guy who wants control. A man who is grounded, confident, and doesn't fall apart the second someone challenges him.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a standard a lot of men are simply not ready to meet. Strong women don't intimidate real men. They expose the ones pretending.
Yeah.
Because when a woman has boundaries, standards, and self-respect, it's not attitude. It's not aggression. It's not her being difficult. It's just the end of your manipulation.
Yeah.
And some men have never had that door closed on them before. So when it's shut shuts quietly, firmly, and without negotiation, they don't know what to do with it. So they call her too much. They call her intimidating. They call her everything except what she actually is. A woman who finally knows herself. Real leadership doesn't mean being the loudest in the room. It means being secure enough not to compete with the person standing next to you. You cannot lead what you are threatened by. You cannot build with someone you are secretly afraid of. A strong woman doesn't need you to fix her. She has already fixed herself. She needs you to just meet her. And if that feels like pressure, it's because she's not lowering herself to make you comfortable. She's inviting you to rise up. And if that offends you, she's probably not the problem.
Watching this video, please share in the comment section. Why do you think some men get so insecure and intimidated by successful women? Like, why? Because most of you actually, maybe you've faced this, you've experienced this in one way or the other. So tell me, share with us, why do you think men get so insecure and intimidated by successful women? Please make sure to subscribe, follow, and give it a like so that we can bring more educative and life-changing topics here. I'm Goshat, my love. See you in my next video. Bye.